Hey there friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I want to go over the items you can get from the Mucid Terrarium location in Remnant 2 with the Dark Horizon DLC. Now, keep in mind the best way to do this is by doing the one-shot, as it is a guarantee that this dungeon will be available, whereas if you re-roll the adventure, it might not be there and you might have to re-roll a couple different times. But in order to get the weapon mod, ring, and amulet, you're going to want to find a secret location and then ultimately beat the boss of the area. So first off, the secret location will be a locked door, which you don't need an item to open. Instead, you're going to equip a shock weapon, such as the Enigma is what I used, and then shoot the broken cable, which is glowing blue on the ground. Now, in the gameplay, I didn't actually shoot the first one. I just show you where it is, as my random teammate was already doing this and essentially showed me how to find the secret. But essentially from there, you're going to proceed through and defeat some enemies. There might be some elites in there, so keep that in mind. And then you're going to keep looking for different blue glowing cables in order to shoot them, and as you do, you'll open up the second and third door. The second door will have the combat shield generator, which is a ring that says, while in combat, crouching or combat slide generates a stationary energy shield with 300 health, which blocks enemy projectiles, lasts 10 seconds or until broken by damage. Can only happen once every 10 seconds after expiring. This thing is actually very fun and very silly. I definitely think it can have some various usages if you make a build around it and kind of utilize it, but you really have to play a certain playstyle in order to maximize it. The next door will give you the short circuit amulet. This is a very interesting one that says, while a shield is active, increases crit chance and crit damage by 10%, and skill cooldowns are reduced by 6% once every 5 seconds. Obviously, this is going to pair very well with the Warden, who generates shields constantly, especially if you want to mix it with a class like the Gunslinger or something of that nature that will emphasize crit chance and crit damage. So lots of potential there, and I think this could be a very valuable option, and is the item that I would recommend chasing the most. Now, the last item in this location is going to be the Void Light. This is a weapon mod that says, launching a projectile that releases a void light which remains dormant for 10 seconds. While active, absorbs other damage sources. After expiration, explodes and fires up to 5 projectiles, which hone in on enemies within 15 meters. Projectiles deal 250 mod damage split among enemies hit, dealing an additional 150 per 100 base damage absorbed. Max 5 stacks and mod power requirement of 850. In order to get this, you're going to have to get the Void Light core. This is gotten by beating the final boss of the area, Amalgam Kelroth, and also Amalgam Relis. It's a 2-port boss battle, which isn't overly difficult, especially on lower difficulties, but this item is interesting. I was using the Void Light quite a bit, and it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, because the 10 seconds that it sits on the ground is kind of crazy. You don't really see an effect from it for quite some time, and I honestly didn't feel like it was absorbing that much damage, and it might be better off when I'm facing a purely ranged enemy rather than enemies who are coming up, because it doesn't absorb any melee damage or anything like that. So it is a bit of a bummer there, but I do think there is some potential for this, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're able to make this absolutely insane with the right setup and if you have enough patience against the right bosses. But it's definitely going to be a bit more situational. I don't know if something like Mother Mind, for example, might be a good boss to run this against and really try to soak up some of that damage, but it remains to be seen. That being said, I do think it's a good option to have, because as we saw with the past DLCs, after the dust settles and everything kind of shakes out and we see where the meta is and what's really strong and what's not, sometimes there are some surprising options that rise to the top and end up being way better than we might have expected. So I highly recommend chasing all 3 of these down, because I do feel like they will be good options for pretty much everyone's artillery arsenal inventory, whatever the case you want to say there. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you have any of these? Are you chasing them yourself? Let me know. My name is Jopa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.
Nice work.